Hey y'all, welcome to Tax Tip Tuesday. I am your host, Chastity Grady. I am the owner of Grady Tax Plus, where I help service-based providers who are new in their business understand their tax situation and help keep their finances organized so they can feel confident in knowing that they are saving both time and money. Okay, so today's Tax Tip Tuesday, we're going to talk about bookkeeping organization tips. Okay, keeping your finances organized. All right, there's levels to keeping your finances organized, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Okay, so before we get started, definitely give me a like. Let me know that you're tuning in. If you're tuning in live, if you're catching a replay, put hashtag replay in the comments so I know that you caught the live. All right. Also, share this video. Share this video out with somebody who needs to know about keeping their finances organized. Okay. You're standing in the way of helping somebody keep their finances organized because you're not sharing this video with them. So make sure you share this video. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm not going to keep y'all long tonight. So when it comes to bookkeeping, right? When you have your systems, I've talked about this multiple times on my page, right? When you have your bookkeeping in place, all right, when you're using a bookkeeping software, there are, different ways that you want to keep track of your income coming in and your expenses, what's coming out, all right? When it comes to your income, your revenue that you're generating, it's not enough to just put that, that is, if, for example, if you're a counselor, it's not enough to just say that that's your counseling income, okay? There's different levels to keeping your income that you're receiving organized, all right? I'm going to give you an example, okay? So yesterday I kind of gave a teaser about what today was about. I talked about how if you have different streams of income that's coming in, like if it's coming from Stripe, if it's coming from Venmo, PayPal, Square, or any other, one of those accounts like that. If you have different streams, you don't want to put all of it together in, in one like income, like you don't want to put it, I'm trying to like keep it simple for y'all. You don't want to keep it in one category for income for counseling or income for coaching or income or whatever whatever it is that income generated. You don't want to keep it in one simple category. You want to break it up. You want to break it up by Stripe, by Square, by Venmo, by PayPal, or whatever that source is, okay? And there's reasons behind it, which I'm going to get into in just a second. Specifically for counselors, let me give you an example. Like if you take insurance from different companies, you want to have it broken down by United Healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, whatever insurance company you're receiving income from. If you're receiving multiple income sources from people, you want to break it down by that person who's giving you that money, okay? And the reasons why you want to have your different income streams separated out, for one, because those people you're going to expect, especially for this upcoming tax season where the IRS has changed the rules about like Venmo and Cash App and other companies like that. They changed the rules about also Stripe and Square and PayPal, all of them. They changed the rules in regards to who should receive a 1099. Okay, and one of the rules was that if you made a minimum of $600, okay, you get a payout a minimum of $600. Now you're going to get a 1099 versus that threshold of 200 transactions and then $20,000 or something like that. And then it added a requirement for Venmo and Cash App. I can't remember if Zelle is one of them, but it added a requirement for them to also issue out 1099s. Okay, so you don't want to be stuck with a whole bunch of 1099s trying to sort out amongst your income what part of the income to actually report on the tax return, because you don't want to double report your income, and you don't want whoever's preparing your tax return to double report income. Okay, especially well, that's something I already do, so I'm not going to go into that part. But whoever you go to, you don't want them, if you don't come to me, you don't want them to double report your income. So that's why it's best to have it, even if you're using a spreadsheet. Okay, even if you're using a spreadsheet, you want to make sure that you have those different income sources divided out so that when you get a 1099 from Square, you can match it to your line for Square. If you made $10,000 from Square, you want to be able to make sure that the 1099 you receive from Square is $10,000. If you receive the 1099 from Blue Cross Blue Shield, you want to make sure that you want to make sure all the 1099s are if I'm making sense. You want to make sure that all the 1099s are matching your source of income that you have categorized for that particular source. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why it's important. Another reason why it's important, because you want to look at, from the back end standpoint, when you want to look at profitability of your company, you want to make sure that you want to see what sources of income are bringing in the most revenue for you. Okay, if a certain source is bringing you more revenue, you might want to focus on only getting income from that revenue source to to either eliminate a different source, or to see what you can do to boost the other revenue sources that you're not receiving as much income from. So that's another thing you want to look at. Okay, so there's two things I talked about. You want to break out your different income sources. Okay, so if that's Stripe, PayPal, Square, different insurance companies, if you're a counselor, or different people who are paying you, like if you work for a company as an independent contractor, you want to break out those different types of sources. Okay, you don't want to lump it all together as income that you receive. Break it out. Okay, and so that you can keep track of the different 1099s that you should be receiving from those companies, because you want to make sure that the 1099 that you're given, that it matches what you've actually received from your bank account. Okay, and there's caveats to all of that in regards to like Stripe and some other payment processors, because they give you the income after they've taken out your fees, and then you get a 1099 with the actual income that you generated. So you have to kind of take that into consideration as well, if you're not someone who is adding that to your bookkeeping. And that's kind of more advanced, and I don't want to go too much deep into that. But basically, generally speaking, Stripe and Square and PayPal, they provide you a transaction report so you can match it up, so you can see what you did actually make. Because again, when you get your payment from them, they've already taken out your fees, and so when you get your 1099 from them, it's gonna be a little bit more than what you've actually received, because they're adding back those fees in. So that's kind of advanced, but generally speaking, you still want to have it broken down. Now, on the flip side, you want to do the same thing when it comes to your expenses. Okay, especially if you're paying somebody to do work for you, independent contractor, you want to make sure that you have their incomes broken down as well. So if you are using a bookkeeping software, some of them give you opportunity to label the independent contractor as a vendor, or or an independent contractor. They might have that specific title, but mostly they're labeled as vendors. So if you have somebody where you're paying them income, or paying them money for doing business for you, then you want to make sure that you are keeping track of each of those clients or customers, however it's notated in your software. If you're using the software or vendor, you want to make sure that you're keeping track of those too, so you know what 1099s to issue to them. Okay, and not only that, when it comes to your expenses, you want to make sure that you are keeping track of the different types of expenses that you have, so that you can report those accurately on the tax return. Okay, so whether that's office expenses, office supplies, education, continuing education, training, if you get mentorship, coaching, any of those things, you want to make sure that you're keeping track of those different things that you got going on in your business. Not only that, but also because you want to be able to look and see what areas that you spend the most money in, or maybe that you spend the least money in, or maybe that you want to scale back to not spend so much. One of my bookkeeper clients, I show her pie chart every month to show her, like, look, you're spending so much money on continuing education. Okay, yes, continuing education is great. Okay, but if you're just overly spending continuing education, it's kind of dipping into your profit. Okay, now your company looks less profitable because you're spending so much money on education. And she didn't even realize she was spending so much money on continuing education. So that was like an eye opener for her. So now she's gonna go and scale back so that she's not spending so much money on continuing education, so that she can have some profit in her business. Okay, yes, we want to be able to write off things, but you also want to have a profitable company. Okay, you don't want to look like you're just making money to spend money. Okay, so those are a couple things that you want to keep in mind when it comes to keeping track of your expenses. So just to summarize what I've talked about, you want to make sure that you're categorizing the different sources, different streams, whatever you want to call it, of income, revenue that you have coming into your business. Okay, whether that be from Stripe, PayPal, Venmo, a person, a specific I can't even talk, specific person or a company, or whatever it is. You want to divide those different sources out, because they're going to give you 1099s, and you want to make it easier for yourself or for myself, whoever's filing your tax return, to report your income accurately. Okay, so they remain in balance of whatever don't come from any of those sources gets reported on the income line for the tax return. And then you want to also look at the fact that if you are receiving, a higher amount of income for certain sources, maybe you want to look into, generating more income from those sources and eliminating some of the other sources, so that you don't have so many different income streams coming in, because sometimes that can be stressful for some people, having different sources or not resources, but different streams of income coming in from all over the place. Okay, having multiple streams of income is really big these days. Everybody talk about having 7 streams, but you also want to look at where are those 7 streams coming from, because then those are 7 things that you have to keep track of. Okay, so if you can have 7 types of income coming in, but from 3 streams, like maybe with the income, well, at least with the expenses, you want to be able to look at divvying it up if you're paying independent contractors, so you can know who is going to get what portion as far as like on the 1099, so that you don't just lump them all in one thing, like one category as independent contractors, and you don't have who was paid what already organized. You have to do more work on your end. It's better if you already have them in your bookkeeping system as a vendor, so that you can associate that particular income that you're paying them out, so that it can be easier for filing 1099s. Okay, and then also, like I said, in regards to different types of expenses that you have in your business, keeping those categories separated, so that you can kind of look and see what areas are you spending too much money in, and also to know how to report the appropriate expenses on the tax return. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I talked about a lot about organization when it comes to income and expenses. If you're someone who do not have your income and your expenses organized at all, you're not using a bookkeeping software, you're all over the place, and you want to get yourself together when tax season comes, so you can be already ready to go and file a tax return with no issues, then definitely schedule a consult with me. I'm gonna link my calendar in the comments, so that you can be able to schedule a consult, so we can see how to best move forward with getting your bookkeeping done. Okay, having your bookkeeping done is the one thing that is preventing your business from growing, from scaling, from you having less stress. It's preventing you from having less stress because you're not organized. Okay, once you are organized in your business, once you have everything organized out, you know what's coming in, you know what's coming out, then that helps you make informed decisions regarding your business. That helps you have less stress. You know how much you can pay yourself, you know how much you can pay somebody else, you know how much to pay in estimated tax payments if that's a requirement for you. You know how to get your information together easily for your tax professional, so you can get your taxes done easily. Okay, so if you're that person, definitely schedule a consult with me. Like I said, I'm gonna link it in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed today's Tax Tip Tuesday. If you have any questions about anything I said in this video, definitely leave me a comment below, and I will catch you in the next one.